Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the First Gen Triumph podcast. My name is Alan Toussaint.
And my name is Latoya Carter. I'm the project director of Trio SSS here in the Illinois State University alum.
This podcast is dedicated to sharing the voices and experiences of both students and professionals with a focus on those who are first generation. The goal of this podcast is to highlight their stories, challenges, and successes by creating a space where their voices are heard and recognized. I'm honored to be joined by Angell Howard, Trio SSS alumna and first generation college graduate. Through the support and belief of those who saw her potential, she discovered her path and purpose and now dedicates her career to opening doors for others, showing the true impact of the power of being seen. Angell holds a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's of social work, and is nearing completion of her doctoral degree in higher education administration and foundations. She currently serves as the Associate Director of Professional Development and Staff Recognition in the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and is also an adjunct faculty member in the School of Social Work. Her story and her achievement stands as a powerful testament to the transformative reach of Trio. Angell, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, of course, just to jump right on, just into the first question, just from a high school dropout to almost Dr. Howard, that's a headline-worthy transformation right there alone. When you look back now, what's the first emotion that comes to mind?
That's a really good question. I think right now I'm still in the trauma stage of finishing this degree, so it's like. But I will say that I'm always proud. I do have a very high sense of pride, just thinking about where I've come from to where I am. And I was never a person that struggled with school. I just had life, which I think is the story of Trio students all day long. And so I was a good student. I was academically strong, but I became emancipated at 16 and needed to work. And so work needed to be more important than school. And so to me, I thought that was going to be my only little trajectory. Mm-hmm. And so to have reached this level and still going and being able to help people, it gives me a very large sense of pride.
Good.
So you started college at 28 with a 1-year-old on your hip. Paint that picture for us. What did that moment feel like walking through Heartland's door for the first time?
Well, to clarify, I have 5 kids. I gave birth to them. So when I started school, I was a bonus mom to 4 kids, and then I had a kid as well. And so I had 5 children at that time and married. And so I think for me, the main thing was just the fear. Like I had never really even thought about college before. Nobody really talked to me about college. And so I was only doing it for my daughter, like the baby. Mm-hmm. And because I remember thinking, I want her to go to college. I want them to go to college. And I can't tell them nothing about this. And so that's when I kind of went on my journey trying to figure it out. And so I remember being very scared and feeling like I wasn't going to find my people. Mm-hmm. Even though it was, because I started at Heartland. Even though I knew it was other non-traditional students, I still was really worried because I was almost 30, you know what I'm saying, trying to sit in a class. So I remember being very nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, just jump into that next question. Of course, like you say, you were absolutely lost at first. Mm-hmm. What helped you take that first step from feeling lost to feeling seen, especially just during your time at Heartland, and then also as well just continue your time here at ISU.
Well, it was automatic. I mean, it was Trio, no doubt. Like at Heartland, it's called Project Rise, and so. My daughter went to the child care center there because I was one of those mamas that was really scared to separate from her. And then I really did try to stay at home with her for a year. I wanted to stay home with her the first year because I had a really, really challenging pregnancy. And so I just kind of wanted to have that moment with her. Mm-hmm. And so I was glad that they had a child care center that had like tremendous reviews. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to walk into the school with her. And it didn't take long at all for somebody to see me. And the person that I always talk about is Linda Elliman. That was my advisor there at the time, little tiny white woman. And she just, she saw me one day and she was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And she just started talking to me and she asked me kind of just some of my history within 5 minutes. And then she was like, "Oh, you need to come to Project Rise. Like you're a Project Rise student." And so she walked me in the office, and from that moment it was on for me. And so she was amazing. We're still friends today. We still talk a lot. And she was just an amazing person, little quirky woman that I just loved, and she loved us so much. And so, and Faye Ellerman, she was the director of Project Rise at Heartland. And so meeting Faye, they just make you feel right at home. Like she was just one of those women that, feel like your grandma, feel like your auntie, your great auntie, and all of that. And so I just started to make that my place. And so I started, participating in everything that they were doing. And then I was one of the first peer mentors, because they had a peer mentor program there. And so I was one of the first that got to do that. And so I thought that was really special to be asked to do something, to go from being the student that didn't know nothing to being the one that could teach somebody else something. And so then I kind of just, that was my thing. Like that was my thing. And I would get everybody in the cafeteria, and I'd sit in the cafeteria, everybody be in there wanting to talk to me and hang out. And we talking about studying and time management, cooking, whatever it was. And so that was exciting to me. So those were the things that really helped.
Good. So now I have a follow-up question with that. Just in terms of just like your experience that you did just with Project Rise, what was one event that you really love to do, or just even attended during that time, in terms of just like, maybe just like extracurricular activities, or maybe just like important events that really impacted students on campus?
Man, it was so many things. I think we always had kind of like a kickoff kind of thing, which I know that we used to do here. And that was always cool, because then all the students would be together. You'd get to see everyone that was starting, or that was also scared, or was also nervous. And so we always just had a whole lot of fun there. And there, I won't say that they did as many like the events kind of like what you all do here, because it really did focus on academic a lot and community a lot. But we would get tickets to go places. And I believe we went. I believe I got to see B.B. King with them. That was like one of the coolest things. Yeah, that was like one of the coolest things, because I'm a blues fan. And so I remember being able to go see B.B. King with them, and that was like a highlight, a huge highlight for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Would you say that leadership role, when you was a peer mentor, would you say that was the moment where you felt seen in Project Rise?
No, I think I felt seen from the beginning. I'll honestly say that. Because they really taught me agency, and they taught me capital. So it was like me understanding that even though I was first gen, even though not finishing high school, like that was never the topic. The topic was all about being strength-based, always about what I had, what I brought to the table. And so that was always important to me. And I can't say I always had that around me. Like I myself had great confidence. Like you can't tell me nothing about me. But when it came to academic stuff, I won't say that I always felt confident, because that was the space where, I left it. And so being away for so long, I really didn't think that I would find my groove as fast as I did. And so for them, it was never a negative talk. Like you didn't hear that deficit talking. Nobody was doing that over there. And so that was special to me. It was special to know that I came in with all that I needed to do what I needed to do. I just needed to hone in and get good with all those pieces. Good. So
Good.
Okay, so as we wrap up the Project Rise Our Heartland, if you could describe your Heartland experience in just 3 words, what would they be and why?
So the 3 words would be support, investment, and connected. And so I am now one of the board of trustees at Heartland.
Good. Hey, look at you.
Come on now. Come on.
And so that's really special to me, because I truly have like a testimony when it comes to them. And so I'm very invested in making sure that other students feel that way. So it's pretty special for me to be a board of trustee there.
Good. That is so exciting. And of course, congratulations on being a part of
Yes.
the board. So,
I was
yeah.
all underneath her Facebook, like, congratulations.
Right.
Thank you.
So
thank
keeping
you.
in part of just just your time at Heartland and all just the continuing work that you're doing, I love that Heartland literally handed you to Vincent Cunningham with the words "Take care of her." What did that transition to ISU feel like for you?
So when I would say each step, I can't say that I always was like, okay, I'm going to the next. Like my first goal was to get an associate's. It was not to get a bachelor's. It was, okay, I'm gonna get these 2 years and see if I can do this. And so by the time I hit those 2 years, it wasn't a question. Like they weren't talking to me like, are you gonna go? They were like, all right, when you applying?
Okay.
And so it was a totally different conversation. And so, I think Faye knew I was nervous. And that I was going into a realm because, Heartland at the time when I went there, I think it's a little different now just because we have a lot more traditional age students there. But when I went there, like you got every classroom, I was looking at people that look like me, whether it was race, size, age, like I was able to find people that look like me. And then the professors were just really special too. They were just they got to have smaller classrooms. They got to just really, so I can't say, I don't even think I had one bad experience with a professor at Heartland. Especially if we had one moment, I was able to say, hey, this ain't feeling good. And they're like, oh, my bad, what I need to do. And so I can't say that was always the case for me. And so I think for them, why did I just lose my train of thought?
Coming to Illinois State.
Thank you. So yes. So when it was time for me to come here, Faye was like, well, they have a trio program as well. So you'll just be able to go right over there and I'm going to introduce you to them. And so I came to like an informational or something and they brought us to that. And Faye introduced me to Vince and was like, hey, she's coming here. Take care of her. I need you to take care of her. And he literally took it to part. And I don't think, have y'all ever met Vince? Have you ever met Vince?
But I hear about him all the time. So
listen, he is natural daddy.
Come on, Vince.
He ain't even that old, but he was natural daddy, and that was just who he was. And he was just a lot of fun and somebody that you naturally would want to sit down and tell all your business to. And so he was really easy to connect with. And so, and the other advisors were really cool too. And so I was able to connect with them. But me and Vince, we hit it off real fast. And so he immediately took on to me and made sure that I was going down the right path for things.
Oh, I love that.
Awesome.
So you said ISU Trio program treated you like staff and not a student. What impact did that sense of belonging have on you or have on your growth as well?
I acted like I was running stuff. That was the problem.
That sounds like Angell.
And Vince let me. That was the real problem. But I just always had a sense of structure and organization. And so whenever we were doing things and it took a lot of work, I was always there to try to help with that and support in that. And so I think it was my way of really wanting to give back. And so, and I had been trying to convince them to do a peer mentor program and all this, but it was just very different at a 4-year than it was a 2-year. But every chance that I could, I just wanted to help. I just wanted to be a support, and nobody said no. They was like, come on. And then it kind of became an expectation. Oh, Angel gonna be here. She's gonna come. She'll be here. And so, so it felt like I was part of the team, and they always joked about that too.
Good. So of course, just going off of that, when Vince told you, you're not done, did you believe him? How did that one sentence change the course of your life?
Oh, I fought him on it. I was like, whatever, dude, I'm done. He was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. My goal, I made it past the goal I wanted.
Yes.
So I'm cool with this bachelor.
I got that bachelor.
I'm cool with that. And he literally didn't pay me no mind. And he told me, so he said, I need you to apply to at least one program.
Okay.
He's like, if you apply to one program, you get denied, I'll leave you alone.
Okay.
So I was like, cool. Now, mind you, I didn't have the GPA to get into the program I got in. I wasn't too far off, but I didn't have the GPA. So I was like, I'm gonna apply for this. I ain't gonna get in here. And so I applied to the social work program. And they make you write a letter when you don't have the GPA. And I wrote the letter, but I wasn't trying to, I mean, I had a hard life, but I wasn't trying to tell them all that. I didn't care. I'm like, if y'all want me, you want me. So I just told them, hey, I got kids. I did what I did, but worked as hard as I could in that psych program. And I also worked, like, mind you, I was a student worker here. I think I'm the reason that student workers can only do 20 hours because
they was in there doing 60.
I had that bond students, and it was Angel's bond students. I had a job in the lobby shop, which was a store that used to be in there, and the info desk, and I was a student manager at the same time.
Wow.
While so, being a mom, which is a full-time job. Yeah.
And so, with those things, I guess, they read my application like, yeah, she's done good for what she's doing. And so he told me, if you just apply to one, I'll leave you alone. But I ended up getting accepted.
Woo woo.
I know, right? And so he told me, if you get it, then if our GA is open, we'll give you a graduate assistantship too. And so that's kind of how that worked. And so once I started the program, one of the advisors had to leave. She needed to go back home for an emergency. And so there was an opening, and I remember looking around crazy, like, what y'all about to do? This semester starting in like a month, y'all gonna be in trouble. And then I didn't know that it wasn't just Vincent, it was people that was on NU College. And there was a guy, John Rosenthal. He was one of the big wigs. And John Rosenthal, he had experienced me a lot because I used to be the person that would do sessions in his classes in like Succeed in Spring and stuff. Because back when I had my GA, it was half visor, half trio.
Okay.
And so I did like time management and all that. So he loved me. And little did I know, he was like, y'all got Angel right there. What are y'all doing? And so they were talking about it, and then they offered me the job. And so within my first year of my master's, I was staff.
So that goes right into that there you go. So becoming a trio advisor after starting as a GA, barely, because you went right into the advisor role. That's a full circle moment. What did it mean to go from being mentored to mentoring others?
So I think I've always been a mentor in some way. I think so that wasn't a challenge, but I think I was scared to be a full-time staff member. Like, I think I had been a student for so long at that point that I was like, whoa, what does this mean? Like, what does it mean to have to be at work at 8:00 in the morning? I mean, I wasn't at work at 8:00 but I was for that first year. But after that, what does it mean to do that and to switch that? Because I think I had got really comfortable with being a student, and I got really comfortable with having space to mess up. Because I think when you're a student, you have some space to mess up. But as a professional, you don't really have that as much. So it was exciting, but it was also very, very scary. And so I don't know. But trio in itself was just it was home for me. And so even if I always joke and say that my immediate office is my family, my immediate family, and everyone else is second and third cousins that I don't really hang around with that much. And so even when my second and third cousins was tripping around here, trio held me down. And so it was just family. It was just natural. But it also, I gained my best friends through trio as well. So my two best friends, one of them was the trio advisor. Then she got hired. And then after she left, my other best friend was the trio advisor. GA. She was a trio GA. Then she got hired on NU College. And then when she got hired, my other best friend became the GA. And then while I was a student, and then she got hired. And so then I became the GA, and then I got hired. So I've had my sister friends like near me. And that was good. Like that is what helped, because times can get tough at a predominantly white institution sometimes. And so having them is what really kind of kept me together and kept encouraging me. And we were right on this floor together for all those years.
That's one of the things I noticed in here trio. I see some beautiful friendships be formed, and they become lifelong friends.
So, sometimes it's survival. Sometimes
not too much trauma bonding.
Sometimes it's survival. But for sure.
Now we're going to shift gears a little bit and just delve more into your career and whatnot. So of course, you never set out to work in higher ed, yet you're here as the Associate Director of Professional Development and Staff Recognition. Long title, very long title.
Yes, it is.
In the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs. How did that path unfold?
So while I was working in trio, so right before trio, I'd had a few experiences as a student that really kind of broke my heart. So they were racially motivated. They were very microaggressive, and just I remember going through a lot of that during probably my junior and senior year here. And so I was struggling with that. I was struggling with what to do with that. And so then I ended up having this really, really bad experience. And it made me feel violated. And so I remember going back to the Advisor Center in tears, because I was just like, what are these professors doing? They don't realize what they're doing. And everyone at ISO knows this story for the most part, so it's nothing new to anybody. But so when I went to Advisor, one of my best friends was working there, and I remember just crying, just like, why would they, put me through that? And so I had a supervisor there, that the Advisor supervisor, his name was Josh Reed. Love him to death, little nerdy white dude. Love him to death. And so he kind of heard me crying, and he was like, what's going on? And so I explained it to him. And so he was one of those people that always spoke life. He was always happy. And he said, well, if I know you, I know you'll do something about it. And he was like, what are you going to do about it? And so he kind of opened the door for me to start doing trainings and talking about racism, and talking about, because I said we were doing a decent job talking about LGBTQ stuff. We were doing a decent job talking about ability, disability, but we were not talking about race. And so I was able to start doing workshops through the Advisor Center. And not many people came, of course, because it's voluntary, but then teachers started bringing their students. And so then I ended up in people's classrooms, especially in the education department, doing a lot of training and development on DEI things. And so throughout that, I started doing it everywhere until I realized I was really good at it. And then I turned it into a business. But the person that was in this position before me, I think she kind of knew she was leaving. And in my view, she set the stage for me. She hired me to do a 2-day training with student affairs. And so that kind of put me in front of who's my supervisor now. And so I spent those 2 days with them, and it was a really good time. And then right after that, she was like, hey, I'm leaving. I think you need to apply for this job. And I was like, okay, thank you. Now that was really scary though, because to go into a whole different department. So from academic affairs to student affairs, I'm on the 4th floor of Hubby. So it was like, wait a minute, am I supposed to even be up there? And so it was just a really scary thing to try, but I did apply, and they loved me and they hired me. And so leaving TRIO was probably one of the hardest things I did though. It was pretty hard because I wanted, I'm sorry, I'm sitting there.
So we want all of you.
It was really hard for me because, again, it was my safe space. It was my safe space. It was my comfort space. And I just didn't know. And I almost didn't do it. Which was ridiculous, right? And so I felt like I couldn't leave my students. But then I said, wait a minute, these dudes be leaving me all the time. They leave me and sometimes don't even come back. And so some of y'all still owe me money. That's what I got to say. But they, I was like, I can't do that. Like, and also in TRIO, there was no way to really make more money at the time when I had been in here, because I had been here 7 years. So, grant fund is a little different. And so I was like, I got to do it. And so I left. It hurt, but I did. And I'm glad I did. I love my job. I love my people over there. I have an amazing supervisor. And so it was just a great opportunity for me to move into more of the development side of things, which is where I think I really shine. I'm a true teacher and educator. And so I really love the opportunity to do that.
Perfect.
Now, before we go to the next question, because I'm not sure if you have it, you mentioned your business. Let's talk about your business. What is it called? So people can,
Yes.
Okay, because we connect.
Yes.
So it's called Necessary Change Consulting, LLC. And so I do, mainly it's DEI, but I also do leadership development, organizational structure. I do climate assessments, come in and check policies and staff morale, you name it. So I typically get brought into places to either do trainings, one and done, or I'm there to create a whole program for them to figure out how to, invest and change and make things better for them. And so I think I've probably spent up to 4 years with a place before. And so, I love it.
Now, where can folks find, just information if they're interested in any trainings or
you look up Necessary Change Consulting, I'm gonna come up. You look up Angell with 2 L's, I'm gonna come up. I'm Googleable.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
All right. He said Google me.
I'm Googleable.
There you go. That's when you coming up. It's just like, hey, you know what? Google me right there.
That's
so
it,
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Perfect. So of course, just the next, just the next thing is, of course, just in your current role, you're helping, of course, you're helping shape professional growth for others. How does your background as someone who felt, once felt completely lost influence the way you lead and also design development opportunities just for everyone else here on campus?
So, I am a person that leads with heart, and I'm definitely a servant leader. So I do everything with love.
Yeah.
I always say I keep it real, but I keep it real with love. Like I'm not a person that's out to hurt anyone. I'm not a person that's out to make anyone feel bad for who they are. I truly believe that we all start from a certain place. And so I will give anybody a chance to grow from where they're at. Now, if I give you the info and you don't grow, then we got some problems. Yes. But I'm going to start with someone anywhere. I'm also a galvanizer. I have discernment, and those are the things. Galvanizing means I can pull people together and get them on one accord. And I know how to build very strong teams. And so I think all of that, I think about all the things that I wanted, all the things that I needed, and I try to give that to people. Yeah. And so, so I think I definitely like to make people happy. I'm not a people pleaser, but I love to make people happy, and I love to make people feel seen. And I love for them to have aha moments. That is so important to me. And so all of that is how I kind of live my everyday life.
Good.
I love when you come to the U College trainings. I'll be writing it down like, what she just said? That was good. So you also teach at an adjunct faculty member in the School of Social Work. How does being in the classroom feed your passion differently from your administrative role?
This has been a testy semester.
I can already sense some stories brewing.
It kind of takes me back to my trio days where I'm able to really guide them through something. I'm still very excited to teach. I think sometimes we can get jaded in some of these roles, but I'm still very excited. So the creation of the perfect project, the creation of a perfect thing. Actually, my classes this semester, their final is a podcast episode.
Oh, I love that.
And so I just want them to love what they're doing. And they're all future social workers. And I think that social work is such a hard field. But it's also a field that you can sneak into even if you don't got your mind together. And I need you to have your mind together if you're going to be out here taking care of people and supporting especially our most vulnerable people. So I take it really serious to kind of get them to see and really care about what they're trying to do. And so I think it's a lot of fun. I think they're a lot of fun. It's also very challenging. They test my gangster all the time. And so but I love it. I think that's what we're supposed to be here for. They're supposed to be teaching folks how to critically think and move along in this world.
Because critical thinking is important, especially for the students you are teaching in the classroom. So those are important. For sure. Speaking, by the way, the students in your classroom, do your students know about your backstory, and how do they usually react when they find out about your journey?
Excuse me. I think they hear a lot about me because I do talk a lot about different areas, and I think I do. I think I always have a conversation with them just about my journey, about being a non-traditional student and things like that. So I think they're always, it's a wow, like, whoa, but it's also, I think it's also encouraging to some because I do have some students in there that are still trying to figure out how did they even get here and what are they doing. So I think I'm always trying to be that testament to someone because that I like to share my story just for that reason so that they can find themselves somewhere in me. And I've had every gamut of experience. So I think I don't think they struggle too hard to connect with something with me. So I think they think it's pretty cool. I think they think I'm cool for the most part.
Okay.
All right, good.
So you live the experiences of being adopted, first gen, non-traditional, and the parent in college. How have those identities shaped your purpose and how your education today?
Man. I think being a parent, that has always been my why. Like I always went to school for my family. I never really did it for myself. It was always for my family and for their future. It was always for me to figure it out so that when it was time for them to go, I knew how to help them. And so so I can't say it was always my goal to even get a PhD. Even when it comes to PhD, I think about my business because I want to help as many people as I can. And I don't need anybody, because I love working with faculty. And sometimes faculty don't want to listen to you if you don't got doctor in front of your name. And so I'm trying to remove any obstacles that will hinder them learning or having a chance to learn from me. And so I think every piece of me, I bring that into the room. I don't know how not to. And so I don't know. I think it makes me who I am. It makes me have the sense of humor I have. It makes me, you could say almost anything to me and you can't move me. It takes a lot to get me riled up. Like I have some very thick skin, which is why I think I'm really good at helping people with hard topics and hard conversations. And so I think my life has helped me to have that thick skin, and not just to where I tolerate things, but to where I really do want to break through with you. I really do want to have this conversation and help you see, and you help me see what you're thinking. And so I think my experiences has helped me do that.
Just an FYI, we all looked up to Angell Howard. Like we all, everyone still remembers you. They asked about you. They're like, "Oh my God, you work with Angell Howard!" I'm like,
and that makes me feel good. I definitely have had I just love my students. Like I've never. It's not even hard for me. Like they're my babies. For real. Some of them 30, 35 now. So still my big babies out there. For sure.
That is good to hear. That is so good to hear about that. So, so of course, thank you for sharing that. And then of course, just one of the next things that we want to ask you is, of course, what does student success mean to you now compared to what it meant when you were just trying to survive your first semester, especially over at Heartland and also during your time here at ISU?
So when I think about success at all, right, that's just a tricky word. I've always sold success as you get to label what that is. And so if you're here and you're trying to just make it through, and maybe making it through is C's, then of course I want you to do better. But if that's your goal, then you're successful, boo. Like I want you to define it yourself, because I don't think that we should be able to necessarily do that to a certain extent. Now I always have high expectations for everybody, but I want you to meet what you want to meet. And I've always struggled with like the word smart and stuff like that. I don't even use it. I've never really believed in smart because that's connected to numbers. I've always felt like it's about your work ethic. It's about what you're willing to do and sacrifice to get to where you're going. And so if I see that you're giving that, then you're successful to me. Now, if you got goals, if you want to get into a program, then your success has to look different. You got to hit a certain number. You got to hit a certain GPA. But I always wanted folks to be able to self-define that. So that they can be, as long as you're satisfied with who you are and what you've done, then that's success to me.
Good.
So how do you balance being an administrator, educator, entrepreneur, scholar, and mom without losing yourself in the mix?
I don't. I'm tired. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, look, when you honest,
I am tired. Listen, no. I think my why has always been great. And so like what my purpose behind things has always been great. And so I'm also very organized. So I'm very organized. I'm very structured in what I do. I do know to take time to enjoy my life, to enjoy my husband, to enjoy my family. But when I have a goal, it don't really you can't really knock me off of that too much. But I am getting old and I'm tired. So I want to finish this degree and I want to experience a little bit of chill time. But my husband laughs at me when I say that, because he's like, you just gonna start another business. That's all. And so, but I am excited to get the school part off my plate, because I feel like that has been a part of my life for like 17 years. But my daughter's 20, so 19 years. And so I'm ready to get that off. I do have lots of side ventures that I want to get into that I haven't been able to give a lot of time to. So I'm excited for my next.
Yeah. So just a follow-up question, just in terms of, just finishing, your doctoral degree, like what's one thing that you're really excited about?
Sleep.
I know that's right.
Yes.
No, because I have a lot of late nights. I don't know. Really, I really am looking forward to enjoying my husband more, because I think he has when we started dating, and although we've been married 7 years, I've been a student. So he doesn't know me not eating, spend a little time, then going into my office to do work. Like, he doesn't know that part. So I'm really looking forward to him having full access to me. And he has been gracious. Oh my God, he's amazing. He has not complained once. We love a patient man.
Yes.
We love it.
He's amazing. And so he definitely has rode this ride with me. But I'm looking forward to just being able to lounge and give him some more time.
Good. That is so good to hear. What's one lesson your journey has taught you that you try to pass on to every student or colleague you work with?
So I think I already kind of touched on it with the work ethic piece. I've always the biggest lesson to me was, your level of success or access, aside from, the systems that make it hard for us, aside from those things, there's nothing you can't do. Like, there's literally nothing you can't do.
I agree.
One of my best friends was saying that she is not disciplined or something. What did she say? She said something like, I'm not making the right decisions. And then I said, you clearly know what the right decisions are. You just got to decide to make the right one. Like, you got to make that decision. And something I always say is discipline is a decision. And so every single day we have to make that decision of wanting something hard enough to do it. That's nobody else is stopping you from most of those things. And so it's really us standing in our own way. And so I really try to remind them that discipline is a decision, and don't be okay with being mediocre. We don't do mediocre.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have some fun a little bit. If your educational and professional journey were a movie, what would the title be, and who would play you?
And I tried to think about that. So let's see. I keep thinking about like Twister, a tornado or something. I don't know. Maybe I'd be Dorothy at this one, trying to figure things out. No, I would be Diana Ross in The Wiz.
Oh, I love that.
Trying to get through, but no. I think the twist and turn. So even if we think about the yellow brick road of trying to find and get to where you want to be and where you really need to be, I've definitely followed every road to try to figure that out. And so I can say now that I know what I'm doing, and I know where I want to be, and I get to kind of decide that. And I don't think I ever thought that would be for me.
I love that. Follow the yellow brick road.
What's a college survival hack you wish someone had told you back at 28?
College survival hack. So see, I was hack queen, so I was the
Give
one
us the
that
tea.
I think so. I immediately latched on to time management stuff, right? Which that was always a piece of me, but like when I started getting the tools and learning how to use them, that was something that just spoke to me. Like, for me to see my time and know how much time I have, I still kind of use those principles in my day-to-day life. With my calendar, I kind of treat it like a time management sheet. And so that, I think that's a hack that I learned that is just so important. Like, you have to manage your time. If you don't manage your time, how can you get anything done?
Right.
And so I think that we take that for granted. Again, you can do anything you want in the time that you have if you use your time well. So yeah, that would be my.
I agree. When you finally walk across that stage as Dr. Howard, what's the first thing you plan to do or say?
I'm hoping I don't start shouting on that stage and embarrass myself, but no, it's going to really be a satisfaction. It's going to be this was not an easy journey. I've definitely had some hurts and pains throughout it. And so I'm excited to get it off my plate so that I can actually go through some healing and kind of stop being, I'm a little bitter in some places. And so I want to get that bitterness off of me. That's not something that I am. Yeah.
And then also, and then of course, just the last question that I want to ask you is, of course, like you've achieved so much. Is there anything that's on your dream big list? I know you talked about earlier, just in terms of just really spending more time with your husband. Mm-hmm. What are some other things that maybe you want to explore after you're done with all the schooling and just really just be like, okay, all right, let's have a lot of fun, do some big things.
So as my husband jokes, it's some business things that I want to do. Yeah. So I am I take very seriously herbalism, yes. And so I'm really invested in understanding medicine and understanding what I can do for people as opposed to something we have to get from the pharmacist. I also make my own soaps and body butters and hair oils and all of that, mainly because I'm allergic to everything. So I have to figure out how to do that for myself. And then earrings. And so those are the things that I want to eventually have a business for.
Not to sound like a Facebook stalker, but it feels like you do like gardening or something.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, she's
good. So we expect you to possibly open up, just like a storefront in the next 2 to 3 years. So
Dr. Howard's plant shop.
There you go.
And gardening was the next thing for me. I truly want to be able to feed my family and heal my family and heal my friends. And so that's very serious.
That is a good thing that you said about gardening. So, of course, just what are some things that you love to grow or thinking about growing?
So this was my first year.
Okay.
So I had really, really good tomatoes were amazing. I cannot eat a store-bought tomato anymore. It ruined me. So tomatoes, peppers. I did really good with potatoes. What else? What else did I have? I had like 4 or 5 different tomatoes. So that was my first time, and I was very proud of myself with that.
Good.
But if you saw my plan for next year, is pretty ridiculous. So I have a whole little scheduler of what I'm gonna.
We look forward to it.
So you're gonna have your mini grocery store going on. Okay, all right. We see you right there. Well, of course, Angel, thank you so much for letting us into your journey. Your story shows us how support, belief, and perseverance can transform a life, and how that transformation can ripple out to help countless others. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us in this episode of the First Gen Tryon podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who could use the inspiration. Until next time, keep going, stay proud, and remember, your story matters. Thank you.
We have that shirt for you too.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Trio works.
Trio works.
Thank you.